So, here we go. I thought I'd do something a bit different. So, for you guys, one time only, here's some bonus content. Here we go. Right. So, that's me. I know, what went wrong? I did have hair. It's proof that I did have hair. You're probably thinking this is some success kind of presentation. And here's me trying to do a toy voice. Now I've got a wheel. I don't have a wheel. I've chosen the wrong career. So I thought, okay, we've got some young people in the room right now. When I look back and I think, where the hell has the last 20 years of my life gone? I kind of wish someone had given me some life lessons at your stage in your career. So this is lessons from a 40-year career in life and a little bit of tribology, other stuff in between. So not long after this photo was taken, this is taken in Oman. I used to live in the Middle East when I was a young child. Probably 12 to 18 months after this picture was taken, I was diagnosed with a brain tumour. The chances were not very good. My parents brought me back to the UK, which is how I really ended up back here. The story was that my parents took me to the GP numerous times. The GP just said I was just headaches. It doesn't like brains. Just take some antibiotics. We just give you antibiotics for everything. So reluctantly, the doctor sent me for a brain scan, and they found a golf ball sized tumour in the back of my head, and everyone was saying that was too late. We can't do anything about it. So it was looking bleak. And one of the main stories here is, life might be harsh sometimes, but it can get better. It can get better. So I went for surgery. Well, actually, no one was willing to operate at this point. This was the 1980s. The medical technology is not what it is now. So nobody in the UK was willing to operate. And by stroke of luck, a doctor from Holland was relocating to the UK to a hospital local to where I lived, Leeds General Infirmary. And he said, I'll operate. It was a big risk. It was a very big risk. The chances are that I wasn't going to come out the other end, being able to stand in front of you today, talking eligible English, or let alone having a PhD and somehow becoming a manager. I don't know how that. So I come out. This was all normal to me when I was a kid. I didn't know anything different. Just being in hospital was just like, well, this is obviously how life is, isn't it? In hospital. So I remember coming out of the operating theatre, and again, my parents had been briefed. You're going to be lucky if your son can speak after this. So I remember coming round in the recovery room, family, doctors, surgeons around me, and I was only 3.5 years old. Okay, so go easy on me. The first thing that came out of my mouth was, I asked my grandma whether she'd got a pension. I didn't know what a pension was at the time. It's just, I remember her telling me about it. I was like, well, that sounds good. You should get it for your money. I've got to get myself one of them. So the doctors are all scratching their heads. It's like, I'm supposed to talk. And ever since, I've been kind of treated like that by the doctors, but they've been really excellent with me. I've got no criticisms, but it's kind of been like, what do we do with him? So, went to school. So I was 3.5 at this time. Went to school. I don't really have any fond memories of school, to be honest. I wasn't academic. You would not have bet money that I'd have gone on to do a PhD at all. I just had frequent illnesses. My brain was obviously taking 18 years or however long to recover. I almost had daily sicknesses and severe headaches for it until I turned 18. Almost the day I turned 18, it just stopped. Now, with all that illness, I never really got to participate in lessons at school. I never really got to build a social interaction with other kids because I was always on. I got back from school and I'd lay on my grandparents' sofa just vomiting and being sick. And yeah, life wasn't good at that stage. And I just wasn't academic. And as I moved through school, teachers tended to put me in the remedial classes, which I kind of resented, because I think a little bit inside me knew that I had a bit more intelligence than that, but I was just automatically put into these remedial classes, which I think, looking back at it, has built up. I've used that resentment as a drive to kind of prove the teachers wrong. The day I graduated, I really wanted to go and visit my teachers and tell them. I thought better of it. So yeah, I went from not very academically bright. I somehow got it in my head that I wanted to be a mechanical engineer. A careers advisor said to me, "Oh, you want to do mechanical engineering?" And I kind of got caught up in the whole Tony Blair, everybody needs to go to university kind of thing. So I ended up somehow at a university in a foundation, and something just changed. Just all of a sudden I was doing something that I loved. And I had no mathematical ability before the age of 18, but somehow put me in an engineering environment and I was doing matrices and all sorts of stuff that I can't do now. It kind of went like that. But it got me through, and it got me a first-class engineering degree. No mediocre GCSEs, A-levels, I don't want to talk about them. First-class engineering honours degree from the University of Hertfordshire. So, graduated 2007, just before the financial crisis. No jobs, and then I thought, oh, I might try and do a PhD someday, but there was only PhDs available, and that man over there offered me a job. And some people often say to me, "Steve, how do you get into rail?" I think most of you will go through your career, and it will just happen. And if I could look back and I could teach myself something 20 years ago, just let it happen. Okay? Just let it happen. Some people are lucky enough, they'll say, "I want to be a spaceman, cowboy when I'm 5 years old," and they will, but they're very few and far between. Most of us just go with the flow. Life is a wave, and just ride it, and ride it as best you can. I haven't got any other slides to go, so you'll have to stare at me the next however long we've got. So what else have we got? Graduated, did a PhD, ended up postdocing for way too long. Another lesson: if you are, at some point you're going to have to make a decision on your PhD, whether you want to be an academic or not. And if you know with more than 50% certainty, don't postdoc for too long. I'd recommend not postdocing. I'm sorry, I know this is an academic institution. And some of you in this room are going to be very successful academics, but we're not all going to be academics. The society can't function if everybody's an academic. You know, if I hadn't have gone to British Steel at that time when that London Underground incident happened, they might not, okay, I'm not Superman, but they might not have, you know, had the resource to tackle that issue. Ride the wave of life, just let it happen. But yeah, don't postdoc for too long. I postdoced for 6 years. Yeah, I know, Roger. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And the more you postdoc, the harder it is to get out of industry, out of academia. So apologies, academics. Academia is lovely, but it's not for me. So I got into industry. I got into British Steel, and I was just perfectly qualified for the job that they were advertising for. I'd spent the last 10 years of my life looking at the wheel-well concept. There was no one else inside the company that could have solved that London Underground problem other than me. And I just love it. I love the customer interaction. I love interacting with different departments within the university, within British Steel. I love interacting with the university. I'm just in my element. It's another light bulb going off, just as it happened when I turned 18. I'm in an environment that I want to be in, and you guys need to find the environment that you guys want to be in. What it feels like for me is a bit like Iron Man. You know, he's got that glowing thing in his chest. I don't know superhero movies and anything, but from what I've seen, he's got that glowing thing in his chest. And when you're in the right place, that thing starts glowing, and you know that you're doing something right. And for you, it'll be something different. Maybe your foot starts tingling. Right, what else have I got to bore you with? So yeah, love industry. I got into industry and I started looking at my manager at the time, a guy called Rob. I don't know, some madness, temporary madness came over me. I thought, I want to do that job. And I made it happen. And there's an element of life of faking it until you make it. So I came out of university, jeans, t-shirt, didn't really cut my hair, full beard. So one day I came into the office with shirt and trousers, not a suit or anything, but shirt and trousers. I faked it until I made it. And just that change of putting a shirt on and trousers, and I just felt professional. And it changes the way you interact with people. It changes the way people interact with you. And by hook or by crook, I ended up becoming the manager. So I just say, the young people in here, if you're in your 20s, early 30s, focus on your core skills, the things that you're really good at, your engineering skills. But other things that we need to use to cope with our lives or get through life and get you into places, you need to learn some soft skills. I didn't learn this till too late. I'm in my 40s now, unfortunately. But learn how to interact with people on different levels. Learn how to interact with the technicians, learn how to interact with your professors, learn how to interact with CEOs, anybody. Learn how to negotiate and learn how to sell. Selling is not just about selling washing machines and refrigerators and commodity products. I'm selling this presentation to you right now. Most things that you do in life are a sale, a job interview. I just heard my own voice. It's probably a sign to stop talking. Sales, negotiation, learn how to invest. One of the best things I ever did was learn how to invest 20 years ago. Because modern day pensions, let's be honest, we're not like these lucky other people in the room. They might have got, nice final salary pensions back in the day. They don't exist anymore. I'm comfortable in life, and I know I'm going to have a comfortable retirement because I've learned how to invest, and I've been doing it for 20 years. The earlier you start, the more comfortable you're going to be. Right, I'm going to show up now because I've kind of run out of things to say. So I hope that was useful. If not, then I'll go and hang my head in shame and probably never see you again. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So if it's all right, you actually filled the time. Perfect.
Excellent. So that's no question.
No questions.
Excellent.
So yes, there'll be another chance to have a chat to Steve later. So yeah, find a round of applause and then we'll crack on. So whilst I'm sitting, I'm afraid people online, this particular session won't be streamed, but if you wish to join us for the panel session afterwards, you're more than welcome.